Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It is Sunday, the 29th of December. Liverpool are 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League from their nearest challengers, Nottingham Forest, after a 5-0 win away at West Ham's Olympic London Stadium. I think that's what it's called. But Liverpool have won 5-0. Before we start, roll call. Well done to Kev for giving up his time during this Christmas period on a Sunday night. Well done to Ashley for doing the same. Well done to Emmet. And for people that are going, where's Keith and where's Shawnee? It's Sunday. They're both bollocksed, right? It's the only way I can put it, right? It's a mixture of drink, but there's a dose going around, as everybody knows. And a mixture of that, they're not here. So that's all I'm saying. Leave it at that. They're both in a heap. That's all I'm going to say to you. But we have four people here that are flying after that Liverpool result today. 5-0 away. Emma, I'll get straight into it. You know, we didn't have a post-match reaction show because of the time of year it is and people are doing stuff, so we said we'll roll right into one. But I'll kind of go with the way we go on a Sunday night, and we kind of go from the end and then we go back to the start. That was a masterclass in going away in the Premier League and winning, and I don't care I don't care who West Ham had, who they didn't have, how many fucking Arsenal fans are upset at the West Ham lineup. If we had the audacity to take a corner and put a few lads at the back post and Arsenal claimed copyright on it, I don't really give a fuck. We went there, we literally took the game with a scruff of the neck from minute one. We beat them, we're out the gap. A brilliant performance considering the time of year it is and how quick the games are coming along.
100%. It doesn't matter who West Ham had. They've been shite all season. They've had a little upturn in form the last while, but we beat them 5-1 twice last year. We put five past them earlier on the season. So it doesn't matter who they have. We were always going to go there and win. I do get a little bit worried about evening kickoffs away to West Ham because we've had a few bad results, but after the first 5-10 minutes, it was very apparent what way that game was going to go. I think it turned into a training session after the second goal,
Yeah.
and we just took complete control of the game. West Ham didn't have a shot on target all game. I know they hit the woodwork twice; doesn't count as being on target. But other than those two chances, very very little. So it was very very easy. I probably would have taken players off a little bit sooner, Gravenberch and Gakpo, just for the yellow card thing, but they were probably never going to get a yellow card after we were so far ahead. But really enjoyable watch. It finished 5-0, could have been 10, and nobody would have complained. I think probably some of the chances that we missed later on in the game, if we needed a goal, we probably would have put them away. I don't want to say it didn't look like we were taking it serious, but it just looked like we were having a fucking laugh like it's Christmas,
Yeah.
passing the ball around. You score, that kind of stuff. But it was a really enjoyable watch, I have to say. Nerves are settled after the first 5-10 minutes.
Actually, you know, we constantly look at 3 games ahead or 5. People love putting up Liverpool's next 5 fixtures and all the fucking crests, and you know that's the thing. And we're constantly looking forward. And when we looked into this group of games, we were thinking Spurs away before Christmas. You had Leicester on Boxing Day, then you were away to West Ham, then you have a week break to United. But everyone was kind of looking at these 4 going, this is a huge chance, you know, to put some points on the board and put more pressure on people. And people away from Liverpool are probably looking, going, look, they had a good win against Leicester, but going to West Ham at times can put up to anybody there, and at other times can be torn apart. But today was Liverpool going in and going, listen, we're just way better than you. If you want to keep coming at us, we're just going to keep scoring goals. And if you want to stop that, we'll give you a bit of a break. But Liverpool just went in and went, we're better, we're winning, we're doing it with the minimal of fuss, and we're out. That's exactly what Liverpool's game plan was.
Yeah. I mean, you look at that chunk of games, and I don't think even in our wildest dreams we would have said that Liverpool would score 14 goals over those 3 games. I mean, that's insane, the fact that we've been doing that. I think what was interesting about today was, even though the Leicester performance felt like a really complete performance, if you listen to Slot post-match, he talked about how they initially wanted to start fast, but then they had that kind of fluke goal that Leicester scored. And you could see today that they immediately rectified that, and they came out fast, and they did kind of what we've been asking them for, just kind of put the team away early in the first half, which we haven't really seen. I mean, barring the last, the Spurs game. But yeah, it was interesting to see that even though this team is performing at such a high level, Slot can still go in and tweak things and get the result that he wants immediately. Like within one game, you see that things are being rectified.
Yeah, like in fairness, we did, and Curtis Jones, I think when we were doing the show after the game the other night, Curtis Jones was saying we want to start fast, but we can see the goal and we have to work on that. And you're right, they must have worked on it, because they just went out and went, no, you're not doing this. We're just going to play our way, and that's it. Kev, you know, we were banging on about suspensions. You had Szoboszlai were missing, and we go through the lineup in a bit, but we had Szoboszlai missing through the suspension. We had Gravenberch was a worry. On a yellow, there was another couple. They always fall out of my head. But Gravenberch, who else was there? There was
Gakpo's on.
There was one more. There was definitely one more.
Nunes.
Was it Nunes?
Yeah.
And you were looking there, Kevin. You were saying, right, get through the game. The most important thing is winning it. If we have to take a yellow or here or there, and it happens to be one of those players, so be it. We're going to have to deal with it. But we've come through this, Kev, where Szoboszlai gets a rest. Gakpo is now free from that issue, and so is Nunes, because their next game is Manchester United, and after that game, all of them are it's all gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gone. So week 19 is when it disappears. It just worked out perfectly, Kev. It just, like, you couldn't have set this any better, bar an injury to Joe Gomez, which we get on to later. But other than that, for the amount of effort they had to put in and the control they had, you couldn't have asked for any more, could you?
No, look, I thought going into the run of games, West Ham away was the toughest one. When you look at the talent that they have available to them, I expected an awful lot more. I expected it to be a lot more difficult. So I expected the back four to be tested a lot more. They had creativity, pace about them, all this stuff that you expect a Premier League side to have. That was as easy an away day as you're ever going to get in the Premier League. I can't believe how soft, weak West Ham were. And they were meek. They weren't allowed. We didn't allow them any kind of impetus into the game at all. And when they tried to have a bit of a go, they were almost slapped down. I said, know your place. And we just went and scored more. And 5-0, it really could have been 8, 9, 10. You know, I mean, the first 10 minutes, it should have been 2, at least, if not 3. And Emmet was right. It's like, it's going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be a flood. And they were all eager. It was like they were having fun. They were playing in the park with their mates. And I just honestly, for a Sunday evening game that's going to be shown all around the world, that was a statement. That really, really was. And in fairness, you could tell that West Ham were playing through pure fear. They were terrified. And Lopetegui sent them out to play one way, and they didn't want to play that way. Yeah. And it was written all over their faces. I mean, I went into that thinking, right, there's one player in that West Ham squad I'd have in our squad. One. And that remains the same. I know people will talk about other West Ham players that they have and they're talented and that. They're not anywhere near good enough to play at a top flight club. Bar one, Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen is the only one capable of playing for a top flight club. The rest of them are all shite. Every single one of them.
The lineups, right? To be fair, I thought I was surprised by the West Ham one, and Kilman plays, Salah is not his name. He plays. There was somebody else that was doubtful and played.
Kilman.
But then it didn't surprise me when I seen how they played, because they looked like a team with a couple in there that were fragile fitness wise and everything else. And then if they had to go that extra yard, they just couldn't, and it fell apart in front of their eyes. And they knew their fate from very early on. On the Liverpool one though, Emmet, Alisson's in goal. The back four is the back four. He goes with what you think, doesn't he? No surprises really there, wasn't there?
No surprises in what he went with, but I probably would have changed it. But that was, and it's not. I don't want to say it's out of fear. But I want to do as much damage as possible to United in the next game. So I probably would have left Gravenberch out. And there was a tackle in the first half where he goes through the back of someone over on the far line, and I thought, oh fuck, that's a yellow, and he didn't get it, thank God. But I probably would have left him out.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Szoboszlai getting his yellow after 2 minutes when he came on during the week might have spoiled the plans. I'd say he probably was rested with the thoughts that he was going to start this game, and maybe Gravenberch might sit it out to try and nurse them past the yellow cards thing. But no, look, he obviously doesn't want to do as much damage to United as we do, and he knows best. He's the one getting paid the big bucks, but there is no real surprises there. I thought he might have gone McAllister, Jones, and maybe Elliott, but then he did in his interview yesterday. He said that he was asked about Elliott, and he says that he's back from injury, he's playing well, but there's a lot of competition in midfield, so obviously he prefers those three over him at the moment. I thought Elliott's done well since he's come back and come on in flashes, but I wouldn't have been surprised to see him in there, but I was happy enough with the midfield.
Yeah, look, it was all about managing a few of them. Gravenberch was the standout one, wasn't it? You're saying to yourself, you want, like you said, not even you want to do as much damage as you can to United. I think what I want is I don't want to give them any sort of encouragement where you go, oh, they're missing him and they're missing him and they're missing him. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, we are missing players. We've gone through the season where teams have looked at us and went, oh, they're missing Allister and Kanate's out or Jota's out. Of course, we're not allowed to say that because that's specifically reserved for Arsenal Football Club. But fuck them. We will say it, but we have gone through the season where we've gone, we're missing this, we're missing that, and we have missed players, and we've dealt really, really well with them, and that's not allowed either. But when you're looking at the lineup, you are thinking to yourself, like, because Gravenberch is a real kind of all action fella. He's involved in the action an awful lot more than you think he is. The niggly bits, the sort of way where you see him as kind of this sophisticated footballer that kind of glides around the place and takes control of a game, but he gets stuck in so much, and that's where he picks up an awful lot of his yellows from. And you're kind of thinking, right, Gakpo loves playing against Manchester United, so, but at the same time, if Slot's not going to rotate them because he feels he's not played enough football, they're fine, he's kind of sticking to his word where he goes, no, you get a suspension, I'll deal with it. I have all players here, like he has Harvey Elliott. I'll throw Harvey Elliott in if I need to. That's the sort of confidence. That's the sort of confidence he has. Going into the game itself, though, actually, like to get the West Ham stuff out of the way, Andy Robertson delays on a ball there today, and I nearly pulled my fucking hair out, right? Where he gets way too. Him and Van Dijk do this all the time. They get way too close to each other. They both stand still, and then they go, "What are we going to do here?" And this is where it comes from. And instead of just turning and sweeping it back to a goalkeeper and going, we start again, diddles on it, and it gets it taken off us, and, ball goes wide. Kudus has that one that hits the inside of the post. And after that, nothing really happens. Actually, let's go through a few players. I want to start with players, and we can throw goals in while we're at it. I want to start with Cody Gakpo. He gets a goal, but he hits a brilliant pass at 0-0 to Salah, where he cuts inside. Oh,
he desperately deserved a goal, that one. That was beautiful.
But is he becoming undroppable out on that left-hand side? Because Diaz seems to love the stuff down the middle. I thought Gakpo was excellent again today, holding the ball, moving when he needed to. It would have been very easy to do the trademark Cody Gakpo and come inside there and unleash, but he doesn't. It's a slide rule ball to Salah, who should probably go across the keeper, but thinks, I'll put it anywhere and I'll score here. Gakpo was really good again today.
Yeah, I mean, he's been stringing together a couple performances that just make you think, he's undroppable. And same with Diaz in this 9 position. I think, actually, when you look at the 3 of them together, there's an argument to be made that they're kind of like forming a bit of a front 3 that's reminiscent to, the Salah, Firmino, Mane days. And I went back and I, just out of curiosity, I was looking at our title-winning season from 1920, and I was curious about where those 3 were goal-wise, and they were at 25 goals combined at this point in the season. Salah, Diaz, and Gakpo are at 30. So they're actually outscoring that famous front 3 in that peak season. And, I mean, I don't think we all kind of saw Diaz being a false 9 really working, but it's working. And that they're creating a chemistry that I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think it, we always talk about the famous front three and how hard it would be to replace them. And I'm kind of starting to feel like this might be our front three going forward. And, they're looking amazing. They're really amazing.
They're looking phenomenal. And, I keep banging on about, roles to play. And I look at Jota coming in, and we talk about him in a bit, but he comes in. Diaz or Núñez doesn't get on the pitch. But you've Chiesa, who we have some quotes on later as well when we get to Ashley, because Ashley pulls all these quotes together for us. And it's just options. And the thing is, I don't think any of them feel like, they're a bit meh. They don't. They all feel like they can serve a purpose. Now, I know people will jump down me try and go, Núñez, are you mad? He can serve a purpose, I'm telling you. I promise you, can serve a purpose. Chiesa most definitely can. And in the other four, you know what they're doing. And it just feels to me like Diaz is going in there and he's not looking to tear in behind the fence all the time. He's dropping off, he's linking, he's walking, and he's learning so much. Then he can go out on the left if he wants, throw Jota up front, give Gakpo a rest or whatever you want. It's phenomenal what's going on up there. But I just thought Gakpo was just so good today again. And he's becoming such an intelligent footballer off that left-hand side. Decision making in every instance he has is getting so much better. There's sometimes, going back a year ago where he might run down a blind alley or he might try come inside and it doesn't work, where now he just comes back and plays. I get it back in 30 seconds, it'll be fine. And his decision making is phenomenal. Kev.
The other similarities, sorry for cutting in.
It's alright, you're drunk on those stuff. It's okay.
The other similarities, just to echo what Ashley said is, and we've said it before, is any one of the front three popping up anywhere. Diaz pops up on the right to set up Gakpo's goal.
Yeah.
Salah later on in the game decides, fuck this, I'm going into midfield, and goes on amazing and set up Jota goal. That was the best thing about Bobby, Mane and Salah, was you didn't know where any of them were going to pop up, and we're beginning to see that out of this front three as well.
Yeah. No, you're dead right. I think in game they'll move around, but it's also like if you're Manchester United, you're going, are they going to put Núñez up front here and we have to sit deep? Are they going to put Jota up front and if we sit deep he'll kill us in the box? Or are we going to go halfway and Diaz is going to pull us all over the place? Or is Diaz going to have a runner Mazraoui all day? Or is Gakpo going to pull inside? And what are we going to do here? And that's the variety that I love. Kev, I want to talk to you specifically about this player, because we had this conversation about him in the summer about world class or not world class, and it's Alexis McAllister, right?
Yeah.
Now, you made a very good point. I think it might be in the summer or the back end of last season, where you said, I'm not 100% sure he is world class, but I feel like he can get to world class, and people lashed you over wrongly, in my opinion. I think he'd won a World Cup at that stage. He was so fucking good. But I know what you were saying about really dictating games, and I think he's come on so much in the last since you said he's really, really good, or I think he can get to world class. Kev, I think it's safe to say, if I tell you that Alexis McAllister is world class, I think you have to agree with me now.
Oh, 100%. I mean, today he's almost like an unsung hero for most of the season, because whenever we do the post-match shows, we're always tend to be talking about someone else, and he just quietly goes about his business. And I mean, today 61 passes, 55. He made 55 out of 61, 90% in the middle of the park, and the vast majority of his passes are progressive. They're always trying to look for players on runs, or always trying to progress the play. His ability to break play up is improved massively. I think having a settled position within this 4-2-3-1 system has helped him massively. Also, having a partner next to him, where the two of them have developed a partnership. Neither of them, I think, would have played this particular way before in their career, especially with what Arne Slot is trying to do. And it looks like he's got the perfect blend of, kind of similar to what Arsenal had with Manu Petit and Patrick Vieira. And you've got a destroyer who can pass the ball, who's silky smooth, and then you've got the engine who just keeps everything ticking over. And he's also goes back to what he had at Brighton, where he played like as a second striker or played as a number 10. He can get into the box as well. He's just so comfortable in everything that he does. And it looks like he's playing within himself. And I suppose the only drawback you can have for the first half of the season for him, you go back and you look at some of the games when he comes back from international breaks. It does take him a while to get into the run of things. But when he gets into the run of it, he's flying. I mean, you always knew that there is this caliber of player in there, but there isn't me that you'd swap him out of the squad for now.
No.
You look around the world at that type of player who does that job. He's as good as any of them, and he's better than the vast majority of them.
I think
he's proven what a bargain he is.
Do you have those stats in front of you there, Kev?
What for?
From McAllister. How many ball recoveries did he have? Does it tell you?
Yeah,
like he
10. 10.
And one of them led to Salah's goal.
Yeah.
Him and Jones are just like pressing machines, and Jones.
I wouldn't have 10 ball recoveries. I was playing against me, young fella, having a game of football.
But that's where they're pressing so high. Him and Jones winning the ball back. He actually wins the ball back, gives it to Jones, and Jones puts Salah in for his goal.
Yeah, but my thing is, and when Kev was discussing McAllister going back some amount of time ago, Kev wasn't arguing that he wasn't very efficient in what he was doing. He was very good at what he was doing. He was very flexible in what he could do because he could play deep. He could play in an 8. He could play in a 10. I think Kev's biggest thing was put him in a position and leave him there, and then let him see and let him, he's world class there. Because if you look at Luka Modric when he was at Spurs, right, was off the left, he was off the 10, and then he just went to Real Madrid and he went, just sit in the middle of the park and just do what you need to do, both. And he just went like that, And my thing on McAllister is that he dictates the pace of the game without you even realise he's dictating the pace of the game. And that's the truth. He doesn't go overly protective on Gravenberch. He doesn't, get too close to either fullback to help them. He just goes, you do what you're doing and I'll always be here. And he very rarely loses it. He uses the ball very well. He's quite progressive in what he does. And I think sitting in that position with the responsibility he has, he just keeps ticking it over all the time. And people think that's boring, but it's not. Like if you have a midfielder and you're playing against him and every time he gets that ball, I haven't a fucking hope of getting it. Because he's just going to do one touch pass, or he's going to take a touch, he's going to play around the corner and you're running around like an idiot. And I think that's where it's coming. His influence...
Luka Modric is a great comparison because his football intelligence. His football intelligence is up there with anyone. His vision, his ability to see a pass. When Emmet was talking about the pressing, they press in such an organised way that he knows when to go, and also his ability to arrive in the box at the right time, like he does for the goals that he scores. Most of the goals he scores are third man runs, and the one his last one he scored with the header, again, it was a third man run, and he just right place, right time. You don't get that lucky all the time. His football IQ is up there with some of the best.
But it doesn't even frustrate the person that's supposed to be marking him. Anybody that's marking anybody in the midfield or forward line literally know that as soon as they get the ball, McAllister's always going to be available for them to lay it off to. He's just buzzing around in that space, always looking for the ball and facilitating.
But you look at 10 times winning the ball back today. He goes and he scores against Spurs. He's 2 assists against Leicester. It's not like he's sitting there just going, listen, Gravenberch, you mop everything up, and Szoboszlai, you run around loads, and I'll stand here and I'll just, pull the strings. He's actually going and he's influencing games in, both areas of the pitch. He's not just sitting in there and he's kind of he's nice to look at. He's influencing things in so many ways. He definitely deserved a mention because I thought he was absolutely outstanding today. Emma, I don't really want to go to another forward, so I'll bring you right back all the way into centre back, and Virgil again today, just doing his job, goes up front in the last few minutes, just steps inside a fella, tries to bend one in the far corner. I was like, this is a fucking job. We probably get points deduction for you trying that, to be honest, just for being so stupid. But again, leads his line very, very well. marshals that defence very, very well. Make sure, even when we're 3, 4 and 5 goals up, if West Ham get near their box, he's making sure everyone's on it. Again, another really good captain's performance from Virgil.
Yeah, it's your standard performance really from Virgil now, isn't it? It's like he's doing that a hell of a lot more this season, making forward runs. I don't know whether it's something that we wanted to do. I know Matip used to do it. Kanate's been doing it a little bit more. Maybe they're being encouraged to do it. But yeah, look, he's unbelievable. He is the best that has ever done it in the league, and I don't care whether they weren't up against Drogba or he wasn't up against this. He can only play against who's he's put up against, but he just, like his song says, as calm as you like. He just never seems to be flustered, and that can be a bit frustrating at times, where you're just fucking sprint, will you? But look, another unbelievable performance, a captain's performance from him, and I was one of the ones that doubted whether the captaincy would suit him. And boy, was I wrong. I think he's only even got better since he took the armband. And a shame, because I think him and Gomez have been doing really well together. And because I did say beforehand, because we had the post-match people on, I did take some notes. I literally had typed in that Gomez is doing well covering Trent, and then he literally covers him and pulls up. And that's a bit of a shame. Hopefully it's not as bad as it was, because I do think that the two lads were kind of nearly finding their 19-20 form again, playing together.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that's not too serious, and I'm sure we get an update on that in the next day or two. A couple of super chats here. Nusheen Boyd says, we're only midfielder we're missing now is a bit of muscle in the likes of a Guimara / Fabinho type. Leonard Nielsen has sent this super chat, and I think he's on the same drink as you, Emma, unless I'm completely misreading this. But he says, pair character, turning around, waving his hand, saying, hey you, while lowering his glasses.
I agree with you, Leonard.
That was great. Emma said the exact same thing. I mean, I go.
I said it. I did. I have it here in my notes.
Come on, Ashley. Can you explain this?
Okay, so in the chat, it comes up as like a little emoji.
Okay.
And it is literally like a dancing pair with sunglasses. So I think that's like the subtext that pops up. He sent us a sticker, basically.
Okay. But it gives you the full readout. Absolutely
Apparently,
phenomenal.
just in case we're blind.
Do you know what? Just send in emojis and see what words come out, and we just read them for the crack for a half an hour. But Emma, like I'd happily do that, to be fucking honest with you. Way better than the football.
Never know.
Tell you what, when the first person to mention the contracts, right, we just get into the emojis and we just bin the contracts. But we'll see how we get on. But yeah, look, when these sort of games come along, to me, it's get in, get your win, get out. Injury, suspensions, if you can minimise them, great. But minimising the amount of actual effort we had to put in today. We put a lot in the first half, but then we just went second half. Listen, this is not going to get out of hand here. We're 3-0 up and nothing is getting out of hand. You want to get one back and we might pick off a couple of goals, which they did. But Liverpool come out of that game just going, perfect. So go warm down for the last half an hour, which is exactly where you want to be. Goals. Let's talk goals. Ashley, I'll come to you first. Diaz gets the first one, and people will say he's lucky. You know, it's nice. He drops deep. I think he gets it off Trent. He drops deep. He turns. He tries to play one through to, I think, Gakpo. He tries to put it between a fullback and a centre back. I think panic ensues in West Ham, and they're just throwing legs everywhere. It falls back to him, takes a touch, smashes it in the net. People think, he might get lucky there, but he causes mayhem when he comes deep and starts running at people. They don't know whether to go with him, tackle him, try cut off passing lanes. It's so effective. But to get that first goal around that time, when West Ham could have really settled into a rhythm of trying to frustrate us, it was big, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was right around 29 minutes in, and it's like the saying goes, like, if you don't buy a ticket, you're not going to win the lottery, and that's what he did. It was all his own work. I mean, like, yeah, there was a very big element of fortune there, but the work that he did to dribble and get around in that tight space, he lost Kudus in the run into that, and like, fine, it was a fortunate goal, but we deserved that goal. I mean, there were a number of times up until that point where I was actually saying that Areola was having a really good game up until that point, because he made a couple of really good saves.
He did.
So we were working for that. It was coming. So I'm not having it was like a lucky day for Liverpool. I think it was just the pressure was telling.
Yeah, and I think he does make a few good saves, and he does really well because he comes in off the back of our Fabianski's injuries, and I think he was number one for quite a long time there, ahead of Fabianski.
He was, and then he got injured.
Yeah, and then Fabianski's kept it in, kept the position.
I think his last game was mid-October.
Yeah, but he was doing quite well. But then when the first goal comes in, you're kind of going, I think Liverpool will probably get a second before half time. And Kev, that's what happens. And the ball is played through. Salah gets out of the way. Diaz is telling him, get away from me. Salah admits that the first touch, he doesn't intend to nuts the fella, but he does. He does intend to nuts the second fella to get it to Gakpo. But again, mayhem in the West Ham defence. As soon as Liverpool, trigger one ball, West Ham are all over the place. And Gakpo's being great off the left, but there he is, middle of the goal. Give me the ball, I'll just stick it away. And we deserved that. And we deserved that little cushion at that time.
Well, that goal came a few minutes after West Ham had a chance with Kudus to hit that hit the post.
Yeah.
And
that could have waited 1-1, yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
The best thing about that, well, there's a few good things, but that goal was created by a ball from a blind pass by McAllister into space. It wasn't to anyone in particular. It was just hooked over his shoulder into an area. And Diaz was behind him shouting and roaring at him, you're offside, get out of the way. But Salah was definitely trying to chip, to touch to take it inside Mavropanos. That was for him to take the shot, but he got it wrong. He wanted to try and take it around him and then toe poke it away himself. But he had the spatial awareness to say, look, it's the only way I can get it through to someone in a better position. He didn't know I don't know if he knew Gakpo was there or not, but
he said in his post-match interview, the only option I had was to try put it through the guy's legs to get it to a teammate because everything was so close to him.
Exactly. And that's what you want your left winger to be doing, is to come inside on the far post to tuck away something that might happen. And that's all you're doing is gambling. But that's repetition. I bet you Gakpo will make that run a dozen times in a game, or a dozen times and a half, and nothing will happen. But you have to keep making the run. And the bounce of the ball went for him. And again, it's like Ashley said, you buy a ticket, you win the raffle. It's no different to the first goal. The first goal made his own look. Diaz took it calmly and slotted it really well. This one, bit of mayhem in the box. And again, it was still a calm finish that needed to be finished. And at 2-0, it literally became, that was it. Whatever little slim hope that West Ham might have thought they had of making a game of it, evaporated as soon as it went to 2.
Yeah. We're all delighted with that, Emma. We're 2-0 up. We're all delighted with it. But Liverpool aren't. Liverpool see their opportunity here to make the second half extremely easy because 2-0 would be great at half time. It's great, but if West Ham managed to pull one back early in the second half and get a bit nervy, the crowd get up, and as dominant as you've been, we've seen so many teams across many years of watching football where they're dominant for 45, they turn off for a early second half, and all it becomes a dogfight till the end of the game. Liverpool see the opportunity, and again they win a high. It gets to Jones to Salah, and Salah does this thing where do you know what? It's actually what I was talking about the other night in the evolution of him and his trademark, where that defender thinks he's coming inside and he's going to bend it into the far corner. He 100% thinks that, and Salah would have done that, most times in his career, but he's gone this thing, and you've muted yourself, by the way, Emmet, just to let you know. But he's 100% thinking that, and Salah just goes, "That's grand. You're thinking that, and so is the keeper. So I'm just going to take a touch and place it down into the bottom corner, a little bit like he done at Old Trafford against De Gea a couple of seasons ago." And that's game over, and it's Salah again with a goal and an assist.
Yeah, I have it there. Super press. McAllister wins a high, pass it to Jones, who finds Salah. Must have given Areola the eyes, and he sticks it into the bottom corner. I still think Areola gets his hand to it, but even with the camera angle, when you see the replay, even though I know he's at the score, and I'm thinking, he's just going to bend that. He normally bends that around with his left, and he just drags it, like you said, into the bottom right-hand corner. I think Areola probably could have done better But it is, like you said, it's Salah has become, and I don't know what I was listening to yesterday, they were talking about it. He's arguably better now. Sorry, this whiskey is hitting me hard
It's
here now.
difficult to say that, isn't it? For a litre of whiskey on board.
He's arguably, because he's slowed down a bit, he's actually become a little bit more technical of a player. And like you said there, he clearly gives him the eyes and drags it into the bottom corner. He would have smashed that towards either the top corner or the far left or right hand corner, to the left of the to the right of the keeper. Sorry, normally maybe 2-3 years ago. But it's like he's taken a few more kind of seconds to think out what he's going to do. And I think that probably makes him a better player than he was previously. Now his numbers weren't as high as what they were in 17-18. I think he scores 44 goals or something.
He's on a par to better that season.
Well, he's at the breaking another record. So he's the most games scored and assisted in any one Premier League season.
Yeah.
8.
And he's halfway through the season.
Fernandes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he's
put that out of reach this year.
Yeah.
Said it again.
He put it out of reach, for a long time.
Put it out of reach.
Yeah. But look, it's another fantastic finish. He has scored a few more like that in the last season or so. You said one there against the Hay. I think he actually scored another one against United, very similar to that as well.
Yeah, this season, wasn't it?
It seems to be a finish he likes now, you know.
Yeah, it's just one where the keeper's setting to go back across his goal, and he just goes, "I'll put it down beside you."
You watch Areola's feet, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
But the ball comes across from Jones to Salah. Salah puts his foot on the ball, and as he goes to draw his left foot back,
Areola wants to go to his right.
The weight shifts onto that side. He has to scramble back when the ball comes to the near post. He
that's
gets
probably
a
why he
hand
can't. Yeah, but that's why he can't get down and get the porches on it. But look,
any other player, he doesn't do that.
Yeah, any other player takes that inside and tries to put it back across the goal. That's why I just love the variety to him is killing people. It's killing people because you don't know where he's going to go. And then it wouldn't have surprised me if he put his foot on the ball and then just flicked it over someone's head for a Curtis Jones running onto it or something. You know what I mean? It's just he's literally calculating 3 and 4 options at a time. And the funny thing is, he's able to do any of those 3 or 4 options, and defenders now know he's able to do 3 or 4 of them options. Where in the past, as electrifying as he was, it was either come inside and hit it or go outside you and hit it. But now they're kind of going, do I go? Do I fucking stop? Do I watch the fella running? And it's just absolutely, it's absolutely brilliant. Next level says, by the way, Neil Maupay is a legend. Neil Maupay, of course, did enjoy Everton's defeat today. He absolutely fucking hates them. But there you go. It's a mad saying how much Neil Maupay hates Everton, and indeed how much Everton hate Neil Maupay, which is the crack. But look, it's in a half time, and we're all thinking. Well, I am anyway. I'm thinking, right, nothing stupid in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Don't get any yellow cards. Get some subs on the pitch. Run this down. Give me some Jota minutes. Give me some Elliott minutes, which does happen. Endo has to come on. It does happen, and I'm not. This isn't me going, well, everything I actually thought the manager done. Maybe we have a future in the game here. No, it was just very obvious what was going to happen. But actually, second half, we bring these players on, we get minutes into them. Do you know what? It's bad on Gomez, but to see Quansah getting 50-odd minutes there, I think was huge for him. Absolutely huge for him to be back in. And maybe Kanate will be back for United, but Quansah's played 50 minutes away from home in the Premier League, and I think that's a big thing. But that second half, we bring players on when we want. We take players out when we want. We're not forcing it because of game circumstance. We're getting minutes into players' legs. We're getting more goals. It's just such an enjoyable second half, and we make it 4 early in that second half as well with a deflected effort from Trent. So Ashley, here you go, right? Here's a big job for you. I want you to tell me how satisfying the second half was. What did you think of Trent's goal, right? And also, what's the story with the celebration? What do you make of it?
Okay. Overall satisfaction, easily a 9 out of 10 for the whole game. I think the only thing that would have made it more perfect is if Salah had finished some of those chances that he had, because I think he could have easily scored a hat trick today. In general, I think he could have easily scored a hat trick. So 9 out of 10 in terms of satisfaction level. I think with Kwanzaa, it was great to see him get on, not in that manner. I hope that Gomez was, something that he felt really early and was able to kind of catch it before it got bad. So we'll see where that happens. I think the nice thing with Kwanzaa coming on and getting time was that he didn't make any silly mistakes. And we've seen him have several games where he's kind of been a little bit more of the focus than we would have liked. There was one instance where he kind of nudged Somerville in our box and they were making it into a big thing on my commentary, but I think it was just a shoulder. It was not easy, and it was not enough for him to go down. So overall, I was pleased to see him have, a solid performance. I don't think it was outstanding, but it was solid. With Trent, I mean, at first I didn't see the deflection. At first I was like, holy shit, Trent, that was amazing. I mean, that's his first goal since his free kick versus Fulham back in April. And I think we think of Trent scoring goals all the time, but he doesn't as much as we'd like. But it did take a big deflection. Kilman, I think, was the one that, it hit off his shoulder or his head or something. There was absolutely no chance for the keeper to save that. So, credit where credit is due. Again, it was, buy a ticket, win the lottery kind of thing. As for the celebration, I don't really know what's going on with Trent anymore. I mean, I saw a side-by-side of Bellingham doing that exact celebration at Dortmund before he made the move to Madrid, and I think a lot of people are drawing parallels there.
Did it for England as well.
Yeah, so, I think it's an easy thing to draw parallels to, and you'll see it probably all over Twitter. I just don't know what Trent is trying to put out there right now. I think he knows what's going on. He knows that there's a lot of speculation. I don't know. I don't like to hate on players. At this point, I'm kind of fed up with the kind of extracurricular narrative.
My thing on it is that I've gone beyond caring about these contracts, to be honest with you, right? There's a league to be won. That stands out above any contract situation from my... If they win the league, they can do whatever they want, in my opinion. I don't really care what they do. If they want to sign a deal, sign a deal. If they win the league with Liverpool, fair enough, you go and do what you want. You owe us nothing, and that's the truth, right? But my thing is, Trent has said he won't play this out in public. Him doing that sort of thing is him furthering the public and playing it out in public a little bit. So I was a bit kind of, you don't really need to do that. Just keep your mouth shut like you have. I think it'll stand to you more if you just stay quiet when you said you'd always stay quiet. But he's still a relatively young guy. He is a young guy. He's 26 years of age. He's a young guy. There's an awful lot of pressure on him because who he is, where he's from, and maybe he was just having a little dig back at maybe the press. I don't know. I really don't know what it means. I think you could go any angle you want as to what it means and make it some way plausible. But I genuinely, when I finished that game today, and I finished watching it, and I went to myself, I seen stuff about Salah saying, no, we're a bit off on that, and I seen, what's Trent doing? I thought to myself, does any of this actually matter? Like, at the end of the day, are we going to get to the end of the season and go, I know we won the league, lads, but Jesus, he didn't sign a contract. We won't give a bollocks if someone doesn't sign a contract. Genuinely, we won't. I'm 43 years of age. I've seen loads of brilliant players leaving Liverpool Football Club, and we're still sitting here in 2024 chasing titles. It hurts, it stings at the time, but I've gone beyond caring about them now. Whatever happens. But the biggest thing right now is Arne Slot and them players are trying to win a league title and possibly more, and that's where all the focus should be on. So the celebration for me, I think, Ashley, if you wanted to make something up there now, I think you could make a genuine,
I think
narrative
you could make an argument for any.
I think you could. Let's make one up before the end, and we'll throw it out there and see how Frank goes for the crack. Sponsored by fucking Emmet. I think Emmet.
Put it in the comments what you think that celebration was about.
Yeah, and we'll make a show on it, and then people go, look at this, making this up, and we'll be like, yeah, relax, we're only messing. Emmet's drinking whiskey he just painted an orange onto the bottom of his glass to make sure there's an orange in it. Come on, get me crayons out there. I'm just going to paint an orange onto the bottom of my glass. But 4-0, Kev 5-0, and Salah decides, there's too much messing going on here. What's all this messing going? Give me the fucking ball. And he just takes it, just starts running up the pitch, and there's fellas everywhere. And there's people falling all over the place, and it's like, Jesus Christ. And it's like Salah is running through an airport trying to get to a terminal gate, right? And there's people getting in his way, but then they're trying to get out of his way at the same time. And then he just fucking passes it off to Jota, who just goes, I'll just stick down the top corner. Yeah, you do that, bud. Stick in the top corner there. We'll talk about it in a minute. And there you go. It's 5, and Jota's back. Minutes, goals, Salah's assisting again. But I just love the way he took a Kev and went, I've had enough of this messing. Give me the ball. I've had enough of this messing. I'll sort this out. Brilliant.
The crazy thing about that goal is it started on the edge of our box. Salah picked up the ball on the halfway line and virtually ran in a straight line. You know, the ball deviates a little bit as he's going, but he moves around the ball, and they don't know what to do. They know they can't lunge in at him. They know that if anyone goes anywhere near him, then he'll just stop and go around them, and they couldn't do that. And all the while, Jota is doing his level best to stay onside. He runs offside, then he comes back onside. And he may as well have just stopped and said, "You're going to give me the fucking ball or what?" Like,
yeah.
And eventually, the ball just.
I actually think Jota's thinking this picture's shooting. I don't know why I'm making this angle. And then he does give it to him, and he puts it away. And he goes, and he just gives the thumbs up as if to go, right, fair enough, because I was about to give out fuck to you.
It was a beautiful curling shot, and in fairness, Areola got a touch on it again.
Yeah,
you know, it was like. This is the thing about today's game as a whole. Areola did not play badly at all. You know, he kept it respectable. 5-0 is respectable based on the performance that West Ham put in today. And we really never got close to third gear. Not that mind have to go through the gears. That was as again. I'll go back to it. You won't see an easier away performance from us this season than that. Not a chance in hell. Great to see Jota back. He needed to go for his confidence, I'm sure. All forwards do. But Salah was just... If Salah bagged a hat-trick and probably bagged another couple of assists today, it would have capped off what was one of the best performances I've seen him put in a long time.
Yeah. Dylan says Darwin would have been on the 6 of the on the edge of the 6-yard box, just standing there waiting for that pass. Sean with a super chat says, what's your favourite cake? Thank you all. Have a good one. We'll get back to that later. I will try to back up later. Near the end. Jonathan says, Stig and Bjorn we left for Blackburn in the late 90s and we recovered from that. There you go. Like, you know, I'm in case closed. Good old Stig Inge. Barry says, Indy is breaking the news tonight about Trent's celebration, meaning stay tuned. There you go. And there will be people that will tune into that, and you should, because it's a brilliant account. But the problem is then you're going to take it as gospel and you're going to spread it around your mates, and they're all going to go, no way. And you're going to go, yeah.
That's what we were trying to do.
Yeah, this fella.
One thing about Trent, all right, and all the contract stuff, whatever happens, happens, okay? We've got no influence, no control, nothing. No fan does. It's going to be made on what's best for business for the players.
Yeah.
Don't fucking forget to enjoy this.
Well, you see, this is the thing, and
this is the
and
problem
you know what?
I have with it.
I go back to Shawnee Lawson, because Shawnee Lawson will happily admit that he has got himself so fucking worked up during seasons where he gets, like, I watched the 2020, was it the 2022 Champions League final against Real Madrid?
2021.
Was it 2021?
It was 2021, I think it was, wasn't it?
Don't think so.
No.
22, maybe. Anyway, listen, the one where Madrid beat us 1-0, right?
The one that we've all blacked out from our memories.
Yeah, Paris, right? And I watched him watch that final. I sat with him while he watched that final. And when I say he was in fucking terrible form, to the point where he apologised to us all the next day and went, lads, I've made a complete bollocks of this. And he said to me that day, I'm never going to do that again, because what he done was he got himself so fucking worked up throughout the season that he forgot to enjoy the season. So he just lumped everything on the last game of the season, which was the Champions League final. And he didn't enjoy any of it. So he's trying to enjoy the journey more. You have to enjoy it. Even if Liverpool are 15 points clear and don't win the title, so what? Enjoy the moments for what it is. Otherwise, don't watch the games. Just don't watch them. Don't get involved until the end of the season and hopefully they win a league and you go, oh, that's great, isn't it? And you don't put in if you're putting in putting yourself through the mental torture of watching
That's
Liverpool,
what it is.
right? And
That's
that.
what it is.
It genuinely is that, right? It's not as bad as it used to be. But if you're going to put yourself through that, allow yourself to enjoy the results. Don't just keep going, oh yeah, but what about the next 5 and what about the next 10 and what about that fucking fella? Is he suspended? Just enjoy them. And whatever happens will happen. But I promise you, if you get to the end of the season and Liverpool have won 1 or 2 trophies or whatever, and you've enjoyed the results, honestly, it's fucking brilliant.
It's so true, because 2013-14 is probably up there with my favourite seasons. We didn't win the league, but the actual journey was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
14-14
is up there, one of the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a
You
doubt.
gotta think about where we've come from too. I mean, even just recently, like I was looking at the quote with Salah post-match about the contract and everything, and someone made the comparison that this time last season when we were playing at West Ham Stadium, that was the time that Mo Salah came out with that whole "if I speak, there will be fire" bullshit, where he and Klopp had that big blow up on the sideline, and there was all sorts of shit going on. And you think about that was just like 6 or 8 months ago. Look at how far we've come. And yeah, there's, bullshit in the media happening, but look at the team where it was then to where it is now. And just enjoy the fact that we've had this turnaround that none of us expected.
And look at Salah's comments on it today.
Exactly.
Virgil was absolutely slagging the shit out of him in the change room beforehand, saying, "Oh, the last time we were here, you and Klopp had a bit of an argument," and he was having a laugh and a joke about it, like so.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, like, you have to enjoy the bits going along, because if it goes wrong in the end, all you remember is the bit going wrong in the end, and what was the point? Whereas if you enjoy the results going along, you're getting some enjoyment out of it as it goes along, and then you get the ultimate at the end. You know, the sort of way. Just as 13-14, no expectation, really, really fun, loved it. I love 13-14, 18-19, I love 19-20. I love all the seasons, because when they win, I have a great time. But then there's some at the end of the season you go, oh, that was shy. But I remember that day and that day and that day where some people just, they get so engrossed in it that they can't enjoy the individual games. It's the end point.
Like even the run up to the 2018 Champions League final, which we lost, like the Roma game, the Man City game. That was what a time to be alive.
Deadly.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, we didn't win it into the end, but like you said, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
What would fry me today is the amount of people and it's mainly online, and they would shit the bed over Salah's comments post match, and forget the fact that we've just watched one of Salah's best performances in a long, long time, and won 5-0 comfortably away from home, and we're so many points clear at the top of the league with the game in hand, and Nottingham Forest are second. They're so driven by transfers and driven by gossip that they forget to enjoy the bit that they're supposed to enjoy as fans.
But Salah is...
I don't get
But
it.
even Salah himself is saying,
Salah is
the main important thing here is
yeah, Salah's trying to tell people, will you stop talking about it? Like, Salah's actually trying to protect people by going, listen, don't let this fucking sidetrack anything. I'm Mo Salah. I want to win the title with Liverpool. I want to win the league with Liverpool. And then he asks about the contracts and he goes, look, no, we're well off that. Such and such, boom, and then he's gone. He wants out of there. I don't want to put anything out in the media, he says. So he's not putting it out in the media. Fine. But at the end of the day, Mo Salah is standing in front of you. And whether he's signing a deal or not signing a deal, he's telling you. He's telling you, I want to win this title. No, I'm annoyed over a contract.
He wants to leave.
No, he's literally saying, I want to win this title.
In front of him. He could say, I'm open to offers. I want to peace out. And he's not.
Yeah. It's mad. So if Mo, listen, if he's telling you to relax and fucking just worry about winning the league, relax and worry about winning the league. If Emmet's telling you, listen, do your own thing, it's up to yourself. But if Mo Salah's telling you, listen to what Mo is saying. Emmet's a fucking drunk. Right, he's not even sick. Right,
I am sick.
he's just coughing there. Look, coughing.
It's
Where you hear
medicinal.
the
I can't come into work today.
when you hear the call he's going. When you hear the call he's going to make tomorrow for the walk and all of you. Unbelievable.
I'm not back at work till January.
You've missed time. You missed time this
Oh, yeah,
season.
I haven't had a sick day in 15 and a half years.
Have you not?
No. Inspirational leader 2024. Baby.
Thanks very much. What a
This is how you do
birthday.
it, folks.
What a birthday. Right. Anyway, Liverpool have won. Quotes. This is where it actually reads out loads of quotes because she gathers them all for you. You don't have to go looking for them. She gathers them all for you. So actually, I'm going to pop them on the screen. You can read them out. I have them, I think, in the order you've done them. There's about 10 of them. And you walk away. So I think we're starting off with Slot and having 5.
I only put spots in today because I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
sure people have
This is what he was talking about.
Okay, so on having 5 goal scorers today, he said, I like to see this because if you only rely on one player when it comes to goals, that's mostly not really helpful. It's also nice to have one that scores quite a lot.
Yeah. And then Slot has a little bit of a quote about 2 quotes here about Chiesa.
Chiesa, yeah, so we were all, I did not promise to do accents, Matt, by the way. So we were all curious about Chiesa and what was going on. Slot basically said he was on the bench during the week and we thought it was better for him to have some extra training sessions instead of joining us today. So he was not ill, he was not injured, it was a tactical decision.
Yeah, and sorry, I probably put this in the wrong order, but he also says I've said a few times about Federico, we are working on 2 things. We are working on his match fitness and whenever we can try bring him into the team, he says. Okay, there we go. He then comments on West Ham and he I don't know, does he lash West Ham out a little bit here? Let's find out.
I mean, he was asked about, the levels that Liverpool was reaching, and he said, I think the level that you reach during the game always has to do with the team that you face as well. West Ham has done really well before we faced them today. And then he goes on, and this is where he kind of lashes them out. They were in a good mood, but normally West Ham doesn't compete for winning the league. I think you always have to take this into account.
Yeah.
So he can be a bit salty.
Oh yeah.
West Ham will be delighted with that because he said that about Nottingham Forest earlier on in the season that they're second.
Yeah. He has a little bit to say on transfers here as well. I'm just going to pop them as I see them here, but he has this little bit on transfers as well.
Yeah, so he basically says, speaking about the January transfer window, he says there's nothing in the media yet about who we're going to bring in, ? And also not in my mind. I'm very happy with the squad that we have. I said this 6 months ago. ...
Yeah.
And then he continues.
I can't see where he continues his.
Oh, okay.
But
Give me
he
a
does.
I'll find the rest of the...
Oh, I just clicked the button to put them into a file. All right.
Okay, it continues.
A few drinks and you think,
I
are
said
you?
this months ago, and everybody said, is this guy crazy? But I think the players showed the confidence and the club and me as well had in them, and it was well deserved. If you look at Kwanzaa today, he hasn't played a lot until now, a few appearances. The way he played today shows that this is the case, that we keep working with these players because we're going to need them all in a certain moment.
Yeah.
And he just kind of, again, just talked quite highly about Kwanzaa after that. But I think that the key takeaway is that, he's not necessarily thinking about adding too many players in the January window.
Yeah. He says then the good thing for us is that we scored so many goals because that's what football is about, scoring goals and hoping the fans like what they see today. I think they're really fucking liking what they see today. And then one last one from you, Ashley, which this is interesting because this player comes up a little bit when Salah's talked about, but this one here, I like this one.
So I throw in a couple fun facts. This fun fact was that only 2 players have reached 30 goal involvements in a single Premier League season in less than 20 appearances. Salah has done it in 18 and Suarez has done it in 19.
There you go.
So that's the level that he's at right now.
Yeah. Simon Tilson with a super chat says the West Ham fans deserve respect for not leaving. Do you know what? It cut to the crowd a few times. The West Ham fans, although they're being battered, looked, not that they were enjoying it, but it kind of looked like they were looking going, these are a really good fucking team we're watching here. Like, let's just stay to the end and watch them playing, you know.
Well,
But
to compare that to when Arsenal beat them, was it 5-3? Not so
yeah,
long
they were all
ago.
walking out. They were all walking out the door, weren't they?
My mate was at that, Robbie. He was at it and he got a ticket. He's an Arsenal fan. He got a ticket in the West
In the
Ham
West
end.
Ham end, yeah.
And he said that West Ham fans were leaving after 20 minutes and
Yeah.
even in some cases nearly arguing between themselves.
Yeah.
So clearly the West Ham fans stuck around today to watch a great team playing football.
Yeah. That didn't, and I think we took corners and we didn't put anyone at the back post because of possible lawsuits. So there you go.
We are not allowed to have pre-rehearsed.
No, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to do that. Fuck me. So back to Sean. He says, "What's your favourite cake?" This is the last question before we leave. Thank you all. Have a good one. Favourite cake. So you go out, you walk into a restaurant, you walk into a pub, wherever you go, you're having a meal. They say, listen, you can have a bit of cake for your dessert. What is the cake? What are you going for? Kev?
Very simple. Strawberry cheesecake. Can't beat it. You cannot beat. It has to be a good one. It can't be one of these ones that are like out of the freezer type yolks.
No,
You get a nice, fresh strawberry cheesecake, nice and thick.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong, and that's all you need. You don't need anything with it. For me, it's the simplest thing in the world. Love it. Not a big massive fan of chocolate cake, especially dark chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Chocolate ice cream is just poison. But strawberry cheesecake, no, it's not. It's the vilest thing in the world.
Okay.
But strawberry cheesecake, you can't go wrong.
What about a few hundreds and thousands? I don't know. Mix it up a bit, Kev.
No,
So
don't mess with it.
Does cake for you guys count as like a variety of desserts, or is it like?
Hold on, we're not doing afternoon tea here actually now, because then we're going.
I'm just
Because
curious
then,
because there are people in here saying like key lime, and I'm like, key lime to me is a pie.
yeah.
Like,
So hold on.
like a chocolate eclair. That's an eclair.
But hold on,
I don't
but-
know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, but hold on a minute.
understand.
Hold on a second. A pie is something that it's a filling inside a pastry. In my opinion, that's a pie. Correct?
Yeah.
So apple tart is a pie. It's not a cake. A cake is something you have on your birthday. Right? Okay, Emmet, don't fucking start me. No, it's fucking 11 o'clock at night, right?
No, I have to change. I have to change my choice now.
But Kev, I'm getting back to Kev. I like the cheesecake show, Kev. I actually made a cheesecake for Christmas Day dessert.
Oh,
So I done the base, Kev, in chocolate digestive biscuit with Biscoff biscuits. Okay, you know Biscoff, and
no, I go with
Biscoff, the little biscuits you get with cups of tea in every hotel. In
Oh,
this
them
country.
ones.
Yeah.
But they're a bit dry in there.
Yeah, but not when you mix it with melted butter, Kev, and chocolate digestive.
Okay. There you go.
I thought this out.
That's the thing.
And then the Biscoff taste to the top, and then on the top we put crushed biscuit with a chocolate sauce across the top. It looked really well, and it went down well. There was none of it left, so it must have went well. Yeah, pies are pies. And we're not doing a selection. That's not a cake. That's afternoon tea. And then you go home and you probably have a cheese board, which is the worst thing in the world, right? They're horrendous things, our cheese boards, okay? And I'll stand by that to the day I
Alan
die.
Lawson loves an old cheese board.
Alan Lawson doesn't like a cheese board. I tell you what Alan Lawson done. He sat down on Christmas Eve and he went, I'll put all this cheese out and I'll stick the lamp on in the background and I'll take a deadly photo and I'll light a candle there and I'll send it to the lads and they think I'm great. And I went, look at this prick on Christmas Eve. And I don't think he was too happy. I fucking hate him. Anyway, cake. Kev's gone strawberry cheesecake.
My choice was going to be, you can get it, I don't know, we mentioned shops, Super Value.
Yeah, well, look, what are you going to do to us?
They do it, I don't know, I'm just saying, they might sponsor us.
No.
Gato Diane, but it's kind of like, it's nearly like a meringue covered in chocolate with a gooey centre, but it's not a cake. So I'm going to go for the cake I had on Christmas Eve in Thunder Road Cafe. There's another name drop. It's the Matilda cake from that film, Matilda. So it's a chocolate cake.
It's the Matilda cake from that film called Matilda.
Leave me alone. But it's a chocolate cake. It's a chocolate cake, and when it comes out on the plate, it has cardboard around it with chocolate sauce in the top, and you pull the top off, and then all the chocolate sauce falls down all over it. of a
Nice.
video there. I'll send it. I think I already sent it.
You
on.
did send it to us, yeah.
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
But that was absolutely whopper.
I think you sent it to
Chocolate
2 or
cake.
3 group chat in with me. And I was
Yeah.
like, fucking hell, this cake. You know what I mean? It must be amazing.
But it was absolutely gorgeous. I have to
But
say,
you-
either that or a chocolate biscuit cake. Chocolate.
Yeah, I like a chocolate biscuit cake. And like, I'm thinking now of the film. Do you remember the film, The Terminator? Your man in it was called The Terminator, and the name of the film was called The Terminator. That was amazing. I just Matilda
Random.
from that film called Matilda is just amazing. I love things like that. Ashley, we've banned you from cheese boards. We've banned you from a selection of cakes, which is nonsense. Afternoon tea is a load of bollocks, isn't it? Isn't it?
I mean, I love tea. Like I'm one of the.
Listen, don't get me wrong.
Americans that
If you knock around to my
gaff,
gaff, if you knock around to my house, I'll give you a cup of tea. I'll give you a cup of tea during the afternoon, but I'm not going to call it afternoon tea. I'm not going to cut sandwiches into 4, and I'm not going to put them all on this like tiered system. I'm just going to throw in a plate and go, "Here, do you want a biscuit?" You know what I mean? That's it.
When I used to live in London and I worked at an art gallery, and the very first time I went there, they asked me to serve afternoon tea. And so I go up into their little kitchen and I take the little cups out and whatever. And I remember just getting absolutely hammered by them for picking the wrong size cups. Like the coffee cups were like half a centimeter bigger than the teacups. And I don't know, I was never forgiven by that company ever again. And it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
What a strange breed.
Yeah.
It was very intense.
What's the name of the company?
I'm not going to do that.
Why? What are you going to do? We go to court over it. No problem.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're still open, but it was a place right behind. It was right behind Harrods. It was an art gallery right behind Harrods, and they were very fussy. But in terms of
Emmet's 100% gonna find that place now. Look at him. He loves it. Do you know what to do to really, really right? Like set him on his way for this week. If you could send him just a corner of a photograph of the street that it's on.
Oh, we'll have spreadsheets and everything about it.
And he'd be like, oh, he'll have the magnifying glass out and he'd be checking it. And,
it was my very
oh,
first
that
day.
brick looks like it was made in
was
Middlesbrough in the
just
1850s. And he fucking loves stuff like that. I call him Catherine Thomas because he's no matter where anyone goes on holiday, this prick knows where they are. And he don't even say it. You know, we're having a great time on holidays, and it's like a picture of like someone's feet and a pill, and you go, "Is that Cree? Is that the fucking Adonis Hotel in Cree? Is it?" Yeah, I stayed there in like 2004. Great place. There's a steak place up around the corner, and he just starts going off. It's like fucking, it's mad. But yeah, Emmett's 100% finding out what's going on there. I'll knock this fucking sickness out of you, Emmett. Anyway, cake. Actually, sorry.
Okay, cake. So my first answer, the reason I asked the question is because my first answer would be strawberry shortcake, but I don't think that's a cake. I think that's sort of, I think it's borderline. So I'm just going to go, like, I'm going to be a little child, and I'm going to say funfetti cake, which is like the vanilla cake with the sprinkles in it.
Oh, yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Like,
No problem. Nothing wrong with that.
Be happy. I'm all for fancy stuff. I'm not a huge chocolate person, but just like a really good quality funfetti cake.
Funfetti cake's absolutely fine. I do like a chocolate cake. But I do like a cheesecake as well, once it has a thick base on it. My favourite ever.
Cheesecake for me, that's like a separate dessert category.
See, that's the thing. You're opening up a can of worms there,
Like
Gab,
I would go, like if I wanted
cheesecake as we know it
like
is completely different to cheesecake in America.
yeah.
They're two completely different things.
Well,
I've tasted
I'm just going to say
cheesecake
the best ever cheesecake I had was one made with a Toblerone base and a Terry's chocolate orange flavour through it, and it was unfucking believable. So just giving you a shout out there. But I do like a chocolate cake. But other than that, cake. I'm good. Just want a variety of cakes. No, I'm just
like
not
if you look up an American cheesecake versus a cheesecake you're thinking of, they're two completely different things. It's
well, the Air cheesecake place. Chocolate biscuit cake is the worst.
Out of curiosity, I want to know the difference, because our cheesecake is like the densest thing known to man. It's like 4,000 calories per slice. It's absolutely insanely delicious.
No, ours is Ours is
Mainly
like so.
biscuit.
Ours will be made with a biscuit base, and then cream cheese makes the vast majority of the filling, but it's very light. It's
Okay.
very, very light, like, you know, to
Like
eat. It's very,
American
very light.
cheesecake is dense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we have a place called the Cheesecake Factory, which is like a restaurant that serves 400 types of cheesecake.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're all dense. We don't have
No, these are
fluffy
light. These are absolutely light. Madeira cake is good. Very moist cake, just saying. Says not will rise again. I used to love the one at Christmas, and they don't see it go anymore. They were the layer cake, it was called. A layer cake. And it was like 3 different colours inside when you cut into it. Really nice. And you know what I had this year that I hadn't had in years? A snowball. You know the snowball with the
Baby
chocolate?
I have
shark.
no
with
idea what that is.
With the
right, so it's
coconut on it.
not the drink. The
Not the
snowball.
drink,
A snowball is like it's
Marshmallow.
it looks like what shape is it? But it's basically it's round. Okay, it has kind of
dome
light
shape,
marshmallow
isn't it?
in the middle of it, chocolate on the outside with kind of coconut kind of bits stuck to the chocolate on the outside. That's the only way I can explain it. But stuff, I hadn't had one in years. Really enjoyed it, by the way. I suggest if you haven't had one before, check it out. Snowballs to the future. Anyway, we are going to get out of here. We've just gone off on all the tangents, but I enjoyed it. Thanks to Sean for that question. It really, I enjoyed it. It can't be a hot brownie, says Owen Book.
Is that a
There you
cake?
go.
Fondant.
That's not a cake.
What's not a cake?
A brownie.
Brownie.
No, he's just saying in general. I think he's just
Okay.
saying in general. No, he wouldn't have got
Allowed.
into the competition. He would have been.
Actually
qualified.
go mad on the
Oh,
rules here.
fuming now. Fuming. Sitting there. She's sitting there. Off to our right there is a lovely tiered, plated thing. She was thinking all the cakes around, and we just blew it away. And she's like, what the fuck is that? I'm not telling you
Not a
what
cake.
gallery I was walking in. And she's going to make a cup of tea in a jug after this, just to be just to tell you all the fuck off.
I
Anyway.
had tea the other night, and everyone said my cup was too big, so I don't know.
No, cups are never too big for tea. As big as you get. So there you go. Anyway, that has been the Talkin Kop for Sunday night. Thanks a million to everyone for joining us. We will be back throughout. We might do something tomorrow night. Of course, we'll have New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, all that sort of stuff. And Liverpool don't play till next Sunday, isn't it?
Next Sunday.
Yeah,
we got
next
a week
Sunday.
off.
So we have a week
Great.
off, but we will try throw a couple of shows in there, including members ones as well, and to keep you going throughout the week. Thanks a million to Ashley. Thanks a million to Kev. Thanks a million to Emma. Hope you get better soon, Emma. And we will talk to you all soon. Over and out.